Welcome to Slow and Steady, the podcast where you get to follow along as we build products in public. Each week, we will give you an honest peek into our lives as we share our struggles, our wins, and everything in between. I'm Brian. I'm in Washington, D.C. this week, and I am feeling encouraged.
I'm Benedicte. Today is August 24th. This is episode 105, and I'm feeling ambivalent.
Okay, we were just talking about... We were trying to come up with this word, and if there is a listener who knows what the word would be, help us out. Because you wrote, "I'm feeling a tiny bit sad."
Yes.
But then you said, what?
Then I said, like, things are ending, and there's like a feeling to... I think there's a word for feeling of things ending where you're like sad that it's ending, but you're not sad that it happened, or you're not like sad in general, but it's that like... Not remorse, because that's remorse. No. It's like, but there's some kind of word.
It's like nostalgia, but in the present moment.
Yes.
So what, like that, feeling nostalgic about something is, oh yeah, I remember that, but and you feel like a little bit sad about, that it's over. But that's usually when you're thinking of, 4 years ago. Or 2
like
years
your childhood.
20 years ago. Yeah, exactly.
Now, so I need to look up these emotions way before we go into recording, because I feel like this could be a good exercise for me, both as a non-native speaker and also as a tech person who's not always good with labeling her emotions.
Yeah, right.
It will be good to kind of look up these emotions. And I think during some like parenting, when I was reading up on some parenting skills, there was this wheel of emotions that you were supposed to use with your children, where it's like sad or like angry, but then it like fans out into all the different nuances of angry or sad or happy. And I found one in Norwegian too, because I need them in Norwegian as well.
Yes.
So I'm going to have to look that up, and I'm going to put it in our document so we can be super precise about our feelings moving forward. But then I decided I'm ambivalent, because I am both a little sad of endings and excited for new beginnings. So that did work. Yeah.
That's good. Well, I always kind of put ambivalent in my head as like you didn't care, not feeling neither sad nor happy, just like I'm ambivalent on it. But the actual definition is feeling both.
I know. I knew that.
Yes. Yeah. That's interesting.
We actually have a word in Norwegian. I don't know if it's in the dictionary, but it's an expression, which is it's grueglede, which is being happy, scared, or like you're So if you're starting school, for instance, you will usually have that feeling, which is like ambivalent, but you're just saying both of them.
Yes. Okay.
And it's like typical when you're going back to school, like you're really excited, like, Lillian was super excited for school, but then you're also a little scared because it's new. You don't know what's going to happen. Bad things might happen, or at least new situation might occur. And it's a good Norwegian word.
Would you use that same word for like when you're getting ready to get on a roller coaster?
Yes.
Like you're okay. So similar, like excited, thrilled.
Yes.
But
also scared.
But scared of it. Okay, cool. What was it? How do you say it again?
Grueglede, or grueglede is the word.
Grueglede. All right.
And it's the bad first and then excited. Awesome. Yeah. So that's feeling talk.
Well, all right. Well, let's get into it. What has you feeling ambivalent about something ending and starting something new?
So it's the last week of summer functions.
Okay.
My kind of Gatsby program, Gatsby Functions program this summer. So people in the chat, I had a bonus webinar yesterday with a guy called Swizek Teller, who has written the Serverless Handbook, which is a great book, by the way. And we had a webinar yesterday, and some of the participants were in the chat, and I didn't catch all of I didn't catch all of what was said because there's a separate questions tab that I really enjoy with Crowdcast so that I actually can get to the questions. But there was also a chat happening while I was coding. And I could see one of the participants when I said like, oh, this is the last week of summer function. And we have a bonus. There's like a little crying emoji in the chat. And I was like, yes, I am also sad.
I made somebody cry.
Success. Like, yeah. Well, it seems like the participants, my 3 participants, have been really excited about summer functions and Gatsby functions or serverless functions in general. So that success on that front, need to talk to them and figure out what pain I was solving for them. Because I don't know if it's really the teaching, if it's more the community and kind of the energy and the like, go and just try it out, don't be scared vibe that I somehow bring to my teaching more than like the content itself. Or it's a mix because they have then coding samples they can look at, but I'm more focused on them solving their own problems, and then they can look at my code for inspiration, but also ask me questions. But it seems like it's that like, well, this, just try, like it's that. And they can see like, even though with years of experience, I also go down dead ends every now and then, or things aren't working out, and it's not the end of the world. So yeah,
that's encouraging to hear that sense of community and excitement exists with I mean a number as relatively small as 3, like to get going. Like that was always, I think, and that's still a huge barrier that I feel in terms of, do I want to start like a little community or like a jobs to be done course or whatever, and if I feel like I'm scared to say, hey, one benefit you're going to get is to join our Slack community. And then, there's 3 people in there. Like, would they, like, would they look at it and be like, oh, I'm kind of disappointed. That's not, it's not what I was expecting. But you're saying that it was successful. Like, it was great.
I think the
community aspect of it.
The community, but I think the live webinars had a lot to do with that, because then it's live and we're chatting and I'm answering people's questions and they're answering each other's questions in the chat in that kind of live aspect. We've also had a little bit of chat in the forum. That's part of a GitHub repo I set up, but it's a very async forum, and that's what I wanted. I didn't want it to be Slack and then nobody's saying anything in Slack for 24 hours because that feels weird. But in a forum with proper threads, you only add a thread when there's something like a new topic. It doesn't have to happen several times a day. Like that would actually be a little annoying if people started new threads every minute. So I think that that was a good choice. It was a conscious choice, but it had like more implications than I thought. But I didn't want to be like chatting with people the whole summer. Like I wanted my vacation time as well. And
feeling like you needed to be, checking in on it, like always looking, keeping it live.
And also people shouldn't like spend their whole day in like the summer functions Slack. Like they should be coding and then try it themselves. And when it's a forum, I feel like people, or my idea was at least, or my hypothesis was that people will try a little bit more themselves before asking a question, because when you do like a forum post or a thread starter, then I at least would feel like I would need to explain a little bit more than just like, this ain't working. And then you're like, what ain't working? Because I'm in the Gatsby Discord, and that happens all the time. It's like, this doesn't work. I'm getting this error message, and it's just like totally random, out of context, helpful. And you're like, I can't help you. And then you have to like ask for all the extra information, and then that gets lost in the chat because it's a chat, not a forum.
It's flying by. Yep.
Yeah. So I like the forum aspect, and also I didn't lead with that. That's not what I sold. It was like, you will also get access to the forum, and I will be answering questions in there. But it didn't say anywhere on the page you were getting a community.
Yeah.
Which I also think is key, because then like if it hadn't happened, but it like organically happened, and then that's great, right?
Yeah. So you give yourself a few cycles to truly build it up, and then add it as part of the core pitch. That's really good advice.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think that, and then also we also have the Friday stream. So a lot of the participants have been showing up for the Friday streams as well, and feel like they're part of kind of like the in crowd in the chat. Because because they've gone through a similar topic on Tuesday, and then we do it again on Friday in the pirate show.
Yeah.
In our Gatsby Deep Dive show, which is a little less structured and a little more crazy than the Tuesday webinars where it's only me, the queen, doing the talking.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like a good cadence that you get.
It's a little, we're not going to do, I'm not going to go live 2 to 3 times a week for the rest of this year, because that would be a little much. Even though I love it, it's still like a lot of my nights and a lot of my time. So that we have it's the last week of summer functions, and then on Friday will then be the last YouTube stream pirate show of the summer function season, and then we're going to take a couple of weeks off before we start season 2, and that's some things we need to work out over the next couple of weeks. Is how often are we going to have the streams? How often are we going to have the webinars? Should it be kind of every other week, or is there a cadence that could be good?
Yeah. How is trying to find time for POW?
Well, to finish off my ambivalence, I know you probably somebody came into my house, so if there's a weird cut there, like Brian has done some good job.
Good.
Anyway, so to finish off the Queen Ray stuff, so why I'm also then super excited and I get help to figure out all of this is that tomorrow is my first private coaching with Jonathan Stark that I've been talking about every week since I booked it. But that is happening this week, and it's going to be good to have somebody to talk a little bit like who can like follow this and has some outside eyes, and also is there to help to see how often should I do these things and what makes sense for the goals that I'm gonna have and define and all that over the next couple of weeks. So that will be hopefully great.
I mean, I'm sure it'll be really solid. That guy seems to know what he's doing. I'm excited to hear all about it.
Yeah, talking about consistency, like he has 2 podcasts coming out every week.
Yep.
Without like missing any of them. With podcasts, though, it's easier to batch. Like if you're going on vacation, you can actually do, a couple of recordings. But when you do live stream show on Friday nights, there's not much you can do.
You're either live or you're not.
You're live, exactly. So I need to figure out a way to do that will work for the whole of the fall, and then hopefully also into the next year, so that I also get that long-term consistency, because I do see what that has given him, in regards to my respects for him and what I expect from him. It's like consistently been like putting stuff out and being helpful to me, at least for years. And I want something similar for myself.
Yeah. So is the goal, the reason you've signed up for the consulting with Jonathan Stark and spinning up summer functions and all of this, is the goal is to build up that like the course side of your revenue, so that POW can take its time building up? Or do you actually know, like for all time, it would be great if it were 50-50, or like what's the split that you're hoping for, say 5 years from now? Like where are you trying to go between product and consulting, teaching, etc.?
Yeah, so with Queen Ray, trying to build up that Gatsby authority so that we can sell plugins as a service, as we talked about. Yeah, so I don't think the courses on the teaching will be kind of like my big ticket item. That's not where I'm going to make like a lot of the money, but hopefully I will then be able to sell these plugins as a service, and also have Ola participate to that, who is a junior developer. Then he would do, as an apprentice, he would do all the setup and all of that, like nitty gritty stuff. And then I could come in and just do the important kind of integration pieces and do what I'm good at. And then that would be the goal there, is for that to replace my contracting income.
Yep.
So that I don't have to contract and hopefully work less than I do as a contractor, which is almost 50% of the year, I would say. And then that would free up hopefully time and money for POW, because I'm realizing with POW that it might not be a project I want to do alone, because I really enjoy the technical side of things, and I really enjoy I'm really proud of like the mission, and I'm really passionate about it, and in that it should exist. And I want people to take more control, or take more charge, I guess is the word I'm saying on my sales page, my landing page, take charge of their cycles and like get to know it and plan around it, or plan together with it, and all of that thing. But I do find that I don't want to educate people on that. I don't want to educate people on that.
Like the content marketing side, you mean?
I would say the content and marketing side, but also like how they should use the product to benefit them more than just tracking. Like, I need that jobs to be done that you're good at. No, but like figuring out what is it that we actually solve. And I think that the app will just be a tool in a larger pain, which is, why is this just, for a lot of us, it's like every month it's like, whoa, this happened again. I don't know what's happening. And it's like, well, it happened last month. My partner knows it's coming. I don't know why, but it's like this, it's some kind of like denial, or not denial, but it's like, I don't know, it happened. And then somehow, and I know a lot of people are like that, like it happens every month, but you're still like, wow, why am I so tired all of a sudden? We're like, why am I so energized? And and then it's like, well, if I know when I'm energized, that's when I should do sales calls. And when I'm tired, that's when I should do, relaxing, but also maybe do tasks that are less kind of social or in my work. So I want people to do that. And I want that for myself, but I don't want to be kind of writing and researching that type of information. Like, I've done it a little bit. It's interesting. Like, I know what I need to know now, but it's not like I have a lot more fun teaching tech than I have with kind of that side of things. And also I realized I don't want to be kind of on television on a talk show talking about hormones. I want to talk about tech, right?
Got it. Yeah.
So I have been thinking. So I want to get your thought on this. Benedikt should be here as well. Maybe we'll talk more about it next week. But my absolute best friend is a nurse who used to be a business administrator, or like a assistant, something. She has a bachelor in business, but then she became a nurse, and she's also my like very close neighbor. And she's been in the back of my mind, like she's very into kind of women health issues, and also she's what's it called? It's she works in the ICU. Is that what it's called now?
ICU
with like newly born babies. Is that
NICU?
Yeah. So she works with the like little the babies who come out with problems. But so she of course has an education in health as a nurse. So I have been thinking like maybe she should join me in POW, like in some capacity. But then I was like, she is my best friend. She's my neighbor. Like, our family spend way too much time together already. Not way too much time, but like we spend a lot of time together, and it will be like very weird to have like that business and neighbor, friend, family relationship. But she's now moving to Australia for 1.5 years. And we were having lunch the other day with another nurse who just started a publishing company to publish a kid's book that is like super cool. And my friend has helped her a lot. And when they were talking, and I was like coming with my experience of running my own business for 10 years, I could hear that my friend either has picked up some things I've been talking about over the years, or she's just kind of like naturally inclined. And she also has that business background or business administration education and experience. So she was saying things like, because this publisher nurse had asked for referrals for her book, like she wanted kids to write what they thought about the book. And then my friend's kids had written these like really good, referrals. And then my friend said, of course, they didn't do that naturally. Like, she would ask them questions. What did you think about the drawings? How did you feel about this? While the other child had written was like, this is a good book for children. Was like his whole thing. And then I was like, your stuff. Like you could be really, really good at these
Yeah.
things that I need help with. So I like fired up a little message. I like, maybe you should, help out with POW. And she's like, yeah, it's not a bad idea. Like, now that we're not gonna, be in the same city. So what's your gut instinct on that? Or like, what's your gut?
Man. Yeah, like, well, so should you find a partner to join you on POW? I would say 99.8% yes. Should it be like your best friend, family friend? I don't know. Like, sometimes that goes really, really, really well, and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? Because it's because I'm in business with my partner already, the father of my child, and then should I? But that's why this like she's moving to Australia thing is so enticing, because it would
it'd be an opportunity for y'all to stay in touch.
Exactly. We could have a podcast where we like talk about POW.
Yep.
There is so much things we could do, but of course, if it goes bad, it can go so bad that we could also have some things in place where it's like we test this for 6 months, and I'm not gonna have 50% of my company like
exactly
get out of the gate.
Right. So it would seem like a really good way to do it would be some sort of short-term, pilot program contracting agreement kind of a thing.
Yeah, because the good thing for me here is that she cannot work in Australia. So she has no income. So I don't have to like, I don't have to kind of give her income to stop working. I would have had if she stayed in Norway. And it's like, oh, you can't be a nurse. I need your time.
Yeah.
But now she has a year and a half where she's going to be a homemaker. And then she can learn some skills.
A little,
could be like an internship
on the side might be exactly what she's looking for. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's definitely an opportunity there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if it's set up well.
So that's what I'm thinking about. So anyone with any experience of working with close friends could reach out on Twitter. That would be fun to get a little discussion going. But if not, like there is definitely, like as I said last time, I'm itching to get back into POW a little bit and like get some. I love your. I'm sorry people can't see your expression right now because you are trying not to laugh too hard of my idea about getting my friend to join.
I mean, I think so. Here's why I'm so torn on this, or why it just feels like it really is a coin flip. You just can't know, and the reason I don't think that the maxim of never do business with friends is just not gospel black and white is because I mean when it goes well, and I've had this working experience with people that I consider to be some of my very closest friends, you like the sum of your parts is just like multiples of how you function alone or with somebody who you interact with just strictly professionally. That matters. It matters in a really, really big way, and I've had that. On the other side, I had a friendship that was basically wrecked, for a year and a half because we, we're working on a business together and it went sideways and we just couldn't be friends anymore. And it took a long time for those wounds to heal and for us to kind of, patch things up. But even so, it's just not the same anymore.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, it's more fun to work on things with friends. It's more fun to do things with people that you like. But when it goes wrong, it can go really wrong. So I don't know. I wish I knew it.
But I'm starting.
I wish it were as simple. I wish it were as simple as just like black and white answers, and there just simply aren't in this case.
But I think I am. Either I need to, again, really make money off of making these plugins and making tech work happen so that I can spend more money on the content person that I do have a good relationship with. And she can write good stuff, but then it still has to be directed from me. And I think when I'm like with one is somebody who has a little bit more, isn't it called agency, or come up with some of their own ideas and kind of own them. So the content person can, of course, but as long as she's not kind of a partner in the business, that's not a business yet. It's a different thing. Like, she's a contractor, and contractors are contractors, and I know how to work with them. But then you also need the money if you want the quality that you would like. And also, I think I need some sort of health person on this at some point.
Yeah. It sounds like what you're saying is not necessarily like somebody who was going to be producing content, but somebody with domain expertise who is interested in product strategy, the direction of the product, like what are we doing for people? And it seems like that's cool. And
with empathy for the user and all of that good stuff. So over to you. That's taken way too long. Yeah. Also because we've had some visits. To I need a room with a lock. That's obvious.
Even then, it doesn't always work. Let's see. I mean, so it's been a good. Well, okay. So I think at some point in last week's show, I said, you know what? I might even just record that screencast this afternoon.
And I said, you're very confident.
Okay. And so the short is that not only did I not record it that afternoon, I haven't recorded it yet. But if I could speak in my own defense here, it's because I realized pretty quickly as I was like finishing outlining the script and stuff, is that there were some pretty significant changes that I wanted to make that would just immediately cause the screencast to be just fully outdated. Like fundamental navigation stuff and like the naming of a section in the app where it was just like this would be a total waste of time. And so I've been trying to get that like significant refactoring done, because meanwhile, there have been like 15 more people have signed up to be on the list, and the first email they receive is, hey, to get an invite right away, respond and answer these a couple of questions. And from last Tuesday, I've gotten 5 more of those, and so those continue to very slowly trickle in. Like that's not a ton of people, but it's not zero, and it's consistent. And like of the 5, I think 4 of them have said, hey, what would be really helpful is like an overview video. Cause once I get in there, I'm like, okay, yeah, I kind of recognize this stuff, but I don't know it as well as, as you do, or as well as the app, expects me to. And I'm like, yeah, totally. Because I know I need to do that. So,
but suggestion time.
Say what?
Suggestion time.
Yeah.
Webinars.
Yes. God.
Because at least with Crowdcast, you can do a series of webinars, and then the last webinar will be the one playing at the same address. So if you do the screencast and you could do like a webinar every 2 weeks, or you could just set it up whenever there is something new, and then you record a new screencast, and you can even have people in the chat and stuff. And then that last one in the series will be the one that show up on the same URL. So you could just keep on pushing out the same URL, which is different from YouTube, because on YouTube, like when a URL has been used, it's been used, right? You can't like reuse that URL. But I also know that Wistia, I think, and some of the others allow you to kind of upload a video and then let it take over the URL. But with Crowdcast and all of the other webinar systems let you do that. And also then you don't, because I know I've been there with POW too. I can't make a screencast because I can't make a screenshot even because I'm making a new feature tomorrow. And then 5 weeks later, it's like, well, I should have made that screenshot because the feature hasn't arrived. Yeah. But if you do it live, it's very, very like you just have to do it, right? But
So this is really good advice. Like, because what I feel like it solves is I need to get something out there immediately, and I know that it's also going to be outdated pretty quickly. Even if I wait another, to the end of this week and do all of this work and create this screencast, it's going to be outdated in 2 or 3 weeks anyway, just because the product is so fresh. You're totally right. And so what this would do is, like, not only is it will it keep the early access list like fresh and giving me something to push out, create something live that people can interact if they want to, and creates an archived asset that then is replaced by the one next week or the week after. Okay, it's really solid.
And you could also then say to people, the next live webinar will be in 3 days.
Yeah.
Or you can watch this one from 2 weeks ago, and then.
So what are your thoughts on like the top, like the structure of the webinar series? Like, is it going to be what's new with JTBD.app this week, or is it going to be how to conduct jobs to be done interviews? And then the following week will be how to assess the output from your jobs to be done interviews. And through that, I will teach the app. Or should it just be like straight up, nope, this is what's new in the app series? Like, I guess what's the instinct in your head there?
I think maybe you should just do the same one again and again, which is like, this is the app. And then you do the screencast, and then when something is changed, you just do it. And then you can say, if you see people, signing or coming through in the chat who are existing users, then you can be like, oh, but that it looked different before. But kind of just, instead of talking so much about how it's changed, just keep on saying like, this is what we got.
This is how you use it.
This is how we use it. And then because I think it's most interesting for new people to your list, then they get an interaction with you, pretty high touch interaction with you pretty fast, which I think could be interesting. Like, I've even thought about doing this for POW, just because it seems like people are very into getting that like personal connection instead of a branded like fancy video. It's like, well, the founder of the app will do walkthrough every other Tuesday. The next one is in 5 days. And then they can sign up and get a reminder, or they can watch an old one if they want to. But then you can branch out. If you're like me and you love the live, then you can have Wednesdays is what's new. Tuesdays
is topical. Yeah. You mentioned Crowdcast. Like, would that be your vendor recommendation, or?
I don't know. I ended up using that because Jonathan Stark uses it, and I've been a participant of Crowdcast, and I did look at some of them, but I'm a little. I found one all the way at the end that I should have maybe switched to, and now I don't remember their name, mostly because Crowdcast doesn't have an API as of yet, at least, so it's harder to pull in the videos for me. Like, as a Gatsby developer, I would like to, pull these in live to my site and to my emails and all of that. But as long as you're just going to have it on one URL, then it doesn't really matter if there's an API or not. And it feels like the experience is nice, and it's super fast to set up your webinars, which like teaches you a little bit about that, like how important it is to actually be able to do something with an app. Because I signed up for another one that was quote unquote better. It had more of the abilities that I needed, but there were like 5 screens because everything was customizable. While in Crowdcast, like, you can customize quite a bit, but you don't have to.
You don't. Yeah. Getting from sign up to the first aha moment
so fast.
Yeah.
It's like, a new webinar, boom, live on a page. Wow, it's done. And then you start realizing that, maybe I wanted an API.
Okay.
But they say it's coming.
Cool.
So
sure, of course it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. That's really okay. So that's super duper helpful. That feels like something I can totally commit to.
And you can also force
The
sign people up. So when you're going to do your first webinar, you just add me as a participant and I will get an email. And I will be your first live attendee if I'm
Right
awake.
on. Right on. Yes. Excellent. Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, cool. That's I guess so. What took us down that road is that, yeah, like, replies and interest continues to, trickle in. I've got and I actually have a call today with a potential new client who actually wants to do, a jobs to be done project with me. But they're also very interested in the app. So that's a great lead. I have an actual project kicking off here in like 2 hours. And so I'll be using the tool to manage that project, from start to finish, this time around. So that's feeling pretty exciting, feeling pretty motivating. I get a chance to, eat my own dog food, so to speak. And so I think it'll be really helpful because I've got this, of course I have like a list of to-dos, but this will be also pretty helpful in seeing where the real pain, is. So that feels great. And I guess the other big thing that I want to add to the app is, not to get too into the weeds on like, flavors of jobs to be done or whatever, but, there are two pretty big, camps. And right now the app is totally focused on one camp. And I want to as quick as I can add the switch approach. So anybody who's listening who knows jobs to be done will know what I mean by that. Just like a different interview method, as well as, the ability to map, forces of progress, which is like another jobs to be done concept. So just making it a bit wider, so that whichever approach you're coming from, the tool is gonna, streamline that. So I feel like
Devil's advocate, though, really?
Yeah.
Do you really, or do you want to take a stance on one of the camps being better?
No, I really do.
Yeah, okay.
I really do want to offer both. Mm-hmm. The most to me personally, like the most off-putting thing about jobs to be done, period, is the egos that are involved, and how dogmatic people get about one approach versus the other. It's really annoying.
So your differentiator is that you can see the benefit of both in a way.
Because there is massive benefit to both. It depends on what you're trying to do. And it's so annoying. So I mean, like the stance that I would want to put down is knock it off. You're probably defending that point of view because you have a stake in people thinking that it's gospel and the other one is garbage. So just quit it. And so this app will definitely allow for both. There's a great book, Jobs to be Done Playbook by Jim Kalbach, and he takes this stance as well, which is like, look, it depends on what your objective is, like which approach you should take and what your personal style is, maybe even what your corporate culture is, company culture is. So that's the approach that I want to take with the tool as well, is it depends. And I think there are really great reasons to use both. So yeah.
Okay.
That's my answer to that.
Just had to ask.
Yeah. Thanks for asking. It feels like that actually might be a genuinely good, opinion to be pretty firm about now that I think about it. So, that's it for me. On the updates, product update side. We're in Washington, DC this week. We put the RV in storage on Sunday. So, we've, seen a few of the sites, the family's out and about right now. And I'm going to hunker down here in the hotel and get some work done today. Then I don't know, this afternoon, maybe I'll walk down to the Lincoln Memorial or something and
and see something more than the hotel room.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like
Which I mean,
it's like
I have
conference
already
traveling where you're like,
Yeah,
oh, this is a
yeah.
nice hotel room, and then that's all
Yeah.
you.
No,
That's basically.
it's already been a little bit better than that. Sunday we went to the Washington Monument, Lincoln Monument, Lincoln Memorial. Yesterday I actually worked for a few hours from the National Zoo, which was nice, even though it was sweltering hot. But it was really cool to, get some work done and then cruise through and say hi to some gorillas or something. But
I've been really surprised, at least in New York. I don't know if I did this in Washington, but working from libraries in the States is a lot better than I had imagined. There are some really great, huge libraries, and there's always space. Like at the my local library in Oslo, it's full. Like people use it, so that it seems like at
hilarious.
least these main large main libraries in New York, at least I've done some really nice coding work in the large one. So hidden office space.
Yeah,
in American cities.
Hit up. Yep. Yes. I haven't. I'll go to the library back at home in Boulder pretty regular, or there are a couple different libraries that are really good. I haven't hit up any here or like along this trip just yet. The other hack that I really like to use is just random hotel lobby.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Hotel lobbies are always, if you find the right one, like super chill, comfortable seating. And then, if, you just look like you're staying there, you can just blend right in.
Yeah. My stepmom did that a lot, and she would even get them to like print stuff for her, stuff like that, because she looks like
I haven't been that bold.
No, she looks like she belongs, and she's like, "Oh, I need this printed," and they're like, "Yeah, sure, I will print. Yeah, no problem." And here's a coffee, and she's like, "Okay, fine." It just depends on how bold you are, I guess.
Yeah.
And also then you have like great bathroom facilities if it looks like
just the greatest. Yeah, the greatest.
Yeah. Okay, cool. But
all right, well,
the shenanigans is beginning here at the house, so we'll have to cut it. But have a great week.
Yep, likewise. Bye.